Alright, I've been dodging it long enough. Greg's. Now, the community wants me to put it up here, but you guys are crazy. What's going on, gamers? The time has finally come. People have been asking me nonstop, please do a tier list. I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but hey, guess what? It's time to let the comments fly and rank these weapons on a tier list. This is just going to be overall. Right now, if you were to sign on to the game, what weapon would be important to get for overall gameplay? Overall meaning you can use it for bossing, you can use it for mobbing. Maybe it's better at bossing and maybe you don't use it for mobbing, you know, certain weapons, but it's just like, I want to rank this list on as the game sits today, not just how it launched. So if you see a weapon that you don't agree with, that's okay. We're allowed to have opinions. So let's get into it. I already see what weapon we're going to start with first. This piece of trash right here, vestigial organ. We already know it's a hot piece of okay, this gun is no longer important. Everyone knows that your glaze, we're spamming Molten Fortress to beat it, but we don't need that no more. Okay, like you just don't. You can't put this thing high up on a list just because it was good for that. Now again, you're probably thinking, well, it's good for this too, it could be good for this. It's trash, so we're gonna keep it there. Obviously everybody's fan favorite. We cannot give the Thunder Cage an SSSSSSS, but yes, it's literally 7 guns in one. It's hands down one of the best weapons in the game. We know this. Thunder Cage is easily to obtain for the community. I don't think this weapon should be shot in boss fights anymore unless you're like trying it on a Glay build or something, like if you're trying to do Thunder Cage versus Python. But yes, it's really good for movement speed. Bunnies love it, but I really don't use Thunder Cage on like any other characters, and I know the community like knows that they would like to use this gun less often because it does get boring. But again, it's just an opinion. But when you have it upgraded all the way, the intrinsic perk just makes everything to explode, and you know, we cannot take away its glory for sure. Tamer, God knows you want to see this down here. God knows Clyde wants to put this thing here. So many people use this gun getting through the campaign and getting into their hard bosses, but then realize that there was better stuff out there. We'll get to that gun soon. I think it's you know, I gotta put it at a B. I'm just being fair. I'm putting it at a B. I'm putting it at a C. I'm putting it at a C. Okay, we're gonna put it to a C. That's fair. And the reason why is this was a great weapon to grab when you were first trying out the game, first getting through the normal campaign, and did beat some of the hard mode bosses with it. I'm trying to be fair here. I just think that a lot of people didn't grind Enduring Legacy because they didn't want to grind 5 copies, which you're making a mistake there. So you definitely should do that. Tamer was everybody's best friends in the boss fights at first, but now I think a lot of people have transitioned off of it, but you do got to give it a little bit of spec. I get it. Let's do Gsxrclyde now. So a lot of people would think Gsxrclyde would be S tier. I'm gonna give it an A. It's a high A. It's up there for sure. And the reason why is obviously when you're using it on boss fights, ripping down bosses defense with it, the intrinsic perk is amazing. When you max this thing out and get all its copies, it is an amazing hand cannon. I've used it in outposts. It's great. Again, I just think that Gsxrclyde is very important. It's used a lot in the fast boss kills now, and great overall hand cannon. I wish that the hand cannons would get a little bit more love though, and that's where we're going to come into Perforator here. Again, everyone's using Perforator right now for their Haley builds or their Lepic builds, but I just don't think we can put Perforator on the same level as Gsxrclyde, just simply because it only benefits from so much. I want to give it a C. It does hit like a truck. I'm gonna give it a B. It does hit like a truck, so I'll give it that. I just feel like hand cannons could be in a better spot in the game right now, and most players are gonna choose Gsxrclyde over Perforator. I'm actually a Perforator lover, but the more I seen that the benefit of Gsxrclyde was in boss fights and for more purpose, I kind of understood it. Plus, you know, Gsxrclyde, you could be lazy, you could just hip fire, but sharing outposts with the Perforator has definitely got me a lot of outpost kills. Python, are we gonna let Python sit at S tier because of glaze? Or does it stay at A because it's only useful in certain situations? It's also used in mobbing builds. It's also used in overall. Since it's super situational, gotta go with A. Gotta go with an A. I mean, again, it could shine more on other builds. You know, Ultimate Freyna is coming. Freyna does use it in certain builds sometimes. Falby can use it still. Glay definitely benefits the most from it. What's nice about Python is that overall investment of the weapon too. If you're only using it on Glay, I mean, you only need to get 1 copy too. Now remember, some of these ratings are simply a rating list for people that if the game sits today, it's for overall use, it's for mobbing, it's for bossing. So that's kind of trying to be fair here. Yeah, I'm working on this stuff, you know. Eternal Willpower, our final purple weapon. Man, this thing is, dude, it cranks. But the reason why that people don't use it anymore is because they've moved on to the machine guns. It's the best AR in the game, so I'm gonna give it an A. It's literally one of the best. You juice this thing up. I know it's very hard to control on the sticks. I ran this thing so much in the beginning of the game, and I still look at it. The other day I did put this on and I did a dungeon with it. I feel like we need some more love on the purple weapons. Just not being able to upgrade their perks at all kind of just makes them irrelevant now. For going off using some legendaries on this list, I think it goes down as being the best AR in the game, so we're gonna stick with that. I feel like that is fair. Let's do Gsxrclyde. They just buffed this thing. It's looking like trash, man. It's looking like trash, man. I'm gonna throw this in the trash can, and the reason why is because also if people didn't buy the battle pass, they can't max this thing out, and I'm not a fan of that idea. So we might as well just grab this thing. I don't even know what this name is. What's this gun called? I don't know. Let's throw that in there too. What is this thing? What is it called? I don't even know the name of it, but that's in the trash too, because that's a battle pass weapon, you know? When anything's a battle pass weapon and you have to buy the battle pass to get max stacks, it's just no. I do want to point out Gsxrclyde does have some cool stuff that you can have those grenade shots interact with the glay and do some unlimited shots, but it's just not there. So good effort for them to make a battle pass weapon good, but I'm sticking to it. It's just hot trash. Gsxrclyde Lance just got a buff, does really good. Mobbing, add clear weapon. I feel like B is safe for this. Trying to see what everybody else thinks. I'm thinking B is very fair. It definitely got a new buff. I myself have not tested it out much. We need more mobbing weapons in the game because of Thunder Cage. The first comment I seen on Gsxrclyde the day it got buffed was Thunder Cage is better. We need more competition and more diversity, so I think Gsxrclyde is you know, it's up there. The Executioner Shotgun, very situational gun. A lot of people don't even use this thing because of the glay. You guys know how you built your piercing lights with rounds per magazine and running 2 magazine perks on your mods? You can build the shotgun the same way, and you can get up to like 15 shots in it, and it will melt dungeons. We're gonna keep it at B. I feel like that is fair, simply because it's not bad. Shotguns are in a bad place in my opinion, but I can't put it next to the Tamer. Can't do that to it because it did kill Gluttony. It smoked the new boss. Very situational. You had to be on a glay, but it did smoke the boss. It did do some juicy damage, so you got to give it some credit, you know? Which brings me to my next one, which is the Smithereens. I mean, this shotgun took Smithereens intrinsic perk, so where are we at with Smithereens? I mean, we're gonna have to put it on C or trash. Chat's saying almost trash. You know what? We're doing Smithereens a favor right now. We're putting it in the trash so it gets a little loving and it gets a buff or it gets a rework. Give it some loving, give it a buff, change the perk now that you gave Executor, and maybe we can bump it up the list. But until then, you know, it's looking like trash. I feel like that's fair. All right, we got Wave of Light just got buffed. I've seen some pretty cool clips of this. Now, using the intrinsic perk of the weapon, it does give you a visual eyeball light up. Very situational, does good damage to bosses, actually. I think I'm gonna go C here. I know we're putting it with Tamer. Ammo is a big problem with it. Yes, if there was a category above C, if there was a B minus, we'd put it up there, but it's not. It's good to use. It's cool to use. Overall, if they just buff scout damage a little bit more, it would be reasonable. I mean, I've seen this scout rifle do a lot of damage to bosses, hitting like 780k a shot, but still, it's just like, it's very we're just settling on it. Remember, this is just fun. We're having fun. This isn't, hey, Clyde rated this gun, so it's shit. That's another thing I want to point out in the video. Just because something somewhere you don't agree with, don't switch stuff around and try and freak out. You know, we've seen this before, right? When Clyde said something about certain Descendants not being in boss fights.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Other characters that should not be in boss fights, Eugen, yeah, they need to buff him. I'm gonna catch smoke for this, but I don't care.
It's a total fabrication.
Easy. Okay, we're just having fun. Divine Punishment. I'm thinking we just throw it in the dumpster now. I think we just move it in the trash can. I've been told that they need to rework this weapon and help it out. It's a very situational weapon. Let's talk about the Peacemaker. Just got buffed. Now that it gives you the skill power boost for Glaze and Valby, I think we're gonna put it on the C list just simply because we know when you shoot this weapon, it's decent. I guarantee if you took a poll of the community of how many people max this thing out before the buff, it's very low. They just buffed it, so now that Glaze can use it on their AoE builds, and Valby can use it just by holding it in their hand to get that buff on their power. I get it. Most people don't even have this gun. Again, this is not based off of just opinions. This is based off of decent in the game. You know, is it good? Is it bad? You know, piercing lights. The only reason this thing's been getting some hype is because of Haley. Other than that, we only use it on Executor, you know? And you have to think, right now, people are only getting one copy of it. They're not maxing it out. I'm going to put it as a B. I feel like that is fair, simply because it's, again, like the intrinsic perk is cool and all, taking down defenses, but I've only seen, I remember I used it on Executioner to remove his buff. The Sharon one-shot, the Glay one-shot build, that all around didn't encourage players to go get it. I agree with you guys there. It's like low A, but that's why we put it at the B, you know? There's no way we could put that at B and then have Afterglow here. In my opinion here, Afterglow is S tier. Most people are just going to say A, but it's a sniper. So overall, we're going to have to probably stick it with the A's. I want to put it with the S. I mean, it's you know what? I'm going to put it. Yeah, I'm going to put it at S because I mean, it's one of the best snipers to use for bossing. I mean, it helps you out with a lot on certain weak points. Some dungeons you shoot and you just melt them. Ever since I maxed this gun out, I had a lot more fun in the game with it. A little bit of my opinion on this, but I feel like Afterglow is worth it. Everyone might not agree, but it's okay. All right, I've been dodging it long enough. Greg's. Now, the community wants me to put it up here, but you guys are crazy. There's no way that Greg's is S tier. It's only situational. It's not going to work on this new boss. He's going to move around non-stop. Spamming Greg's in boss fights, especially hard ones, it's not working. Pro tip, when you're using Greg's, wait until the boss is downed so you can get your damage shots off. If no one's grappled to the boss, please don't spam Greg's at a boss. There's no reason to. Most players knock the boss down with a machine gun first and then switch over to Greg's, you know? I'm put it as B. We're gonna do a B, okay? Very situational. A lot of the community went for this weapon. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying. It's really good in dungeons. If the boss stands still, you burn him down. If Gluttony stands still, you burn him down. Yes, the world's fastest kill on Gluttony was with Greg's. He was standing there. You can clip it now if Greg's works on this new boss, but if it burns him down, take my B of Greg's and take it to an A. Fallen Hope. I have not used this gun since the beta. Ultimate Freyna is going to come out. To be fair, it did have its glory on Freyna. Does it deserve a C or does it just go in the trash? I mean, you know what? We're going to give it the smithereens treatment. It's in the trash until they buff it. Again, I hope they do give it some loving with Ultimate Freyna coming out. We're just begging for a dot damage Freyna to be juiced. So could be really good. Secret Garden. Secret Garden is being used in a lot of builds right now, especially with Ultimate Freyna coming out and Ajax and some other characters right now. It just gives you the flat buff to all your damage. It's up there. People enjoy it. The new settings make it so it's full auto when you hold down the trigger. We're gonna give it an A. I want to give it a B just for the Secret Garden nanotube. I mean, that's one of the worst grinds in the game. It's terrible. Overall, I think it's good. What's this gun called? I don't even know what it is. Is it called trash? I think that's what it's called. It's called the Restored Relic. Okay, that's hot trash. We know it's over. Okay, recycled trash, maybe. I don't know. Clairvoyance. You got to remember that pretty much the only character that I've seen people use this on is Viessa. A lot of people don't even use it as much. I'm gonna give it a C. I've known that some Viessas tested this out and people told me that they liked it, they disliked it, but there's a new scout rifle coming out for Viessa and Haley too. So Blue Beetle. A lot of people like this gun. Clyde. Don't piss them off. That's a C. I feel like it's still a C. It's 30% crit, but it's 30% crit the character's base. So if we were just talking about this earlier. If you use it on a bunny, it's only 3%. It's another stat stick weapon. It's one buff away of being like A tier. So I just think that, again, scout rifles are just tough right now. Like, I don't know how you guys feel, but this is how I feel. When I use different guns in the game, if unfortunately, like, you just have to turn your mind off and go, hey, we're not playing the meta anymore. It's like when you play on Bunny for 7 hours straight, then you go play on a different character. So like when you use a Thunder Cage all day and then you use like a scout rifle, you're like, bro, Blue Beetle's just like, you're using it for crit chance, but it's like, it could be a little more. I think if they give it a little bit of push, like a little buff, we're good to go. Remember, this list is not finalized yet. We still have to finish all the weapons, and then we're going to discuss changes, and we'll go from there. I forgot the names of these. It's bad. Is this final masterpiece or is this the dagger? Which one's this? This is the dagger. I don't even know the name of them, so this is literally trash. Sidearms are just tough. I feel like sidearms and some of the handguns need a little buff. Do we put some spec on this for the masterpiece? Do we put some spec on it? Do we give it some credit? I'm gonna give it a C. We don't want to throw it in the trash, but we bump it to a C. Albion Cavalry. I think we just keep it in the trash can. And finally, I mean, there's no shout of a doubt here. My favorite weapon in the game, the Enduring Legacy, is definitely S tier. It's SSSSS. I could arguably say it's the best overall weapon in the game. People that like Thunder Cage so much would disagree, but me personally, I think if you don't have an Enduring Legacy, you should go get one. I just finished my 10th and I'm doing a test to see how I can build one for just strictly boss fights and strictly for the fire damage mobbing setup that I currently use now. But I can tell you right now, when I got Enduring Legacy, it literally changed the game. So Enduring Legacy's got that big old magazine and it just burns everything. I wanted to be that guy and make a tier above it and put, you know, godlike Enduring, but you know, we're gonna keep it in the S tier, gonna make it fair. I feel like, you know, we did pretty good on the S and A tier for sure. Just run around on an Enzo with an Enduring Legacy, it just, everything dies. But again, we're just gonna keep it all there. The main judgment of the whole thing was if someone was in chat right now or seeing this video, wanted to jump in and play the game, what weapons would they go after? And just looking at the S and the A tier, I feel like that's a solid choice, telling them to go for Thunder Cage, Afterglow, Enduring, Gsxrclyde, Python, Eternal Willpower, and Secret Garden. If they didn't get any of the B, C, or trash weapons, they're okay. They're not missing out on anything, you know? We all know they're gonna get Tamer first, but right now we're gonna give you guys about a minute to just speed yap on why something should be moved. If you mention Greg's, it ain't going nowhere. The reason why that Secret Garden is above Greg's is because Greg's is, people just use Greg's because they just know that if they have a maxed out Greg's and you go fight Gluttony, one of the hardest fights in the game right now, you have a chance to beat him. That's it. But if the boss moves, you're screwed. If the boss moves around a lot, Greg's doesn't work on everything. Secret Garden's a crit machine. It's going to be very useful in the future, and it's a stat stick, and it's a really good weapon for overall using, just like Gsxrclyde's is, you know? Closing statement on this, I just feel like it's fair. The reason why I do this video was just to make the community happy. People were asking me to do this. I think it's fun sometimes to share your input on stuff. This is an entertainment video, so you don't have to agree with stuff. It's okay. If you roll around with weapons that are different, that's fine. Play the game however you want. Some people just play it maximized, some people don't. So hopefully you enjoyed this ranking list of the weapons that I feel like are important in the game. And maybe if this video does well, we'll do another one. Till next time.